We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Napoleonic Total War 3 battle. Today we are continuing our replays of the Templar tournament. I think that's what it was called. I'll just call it the tournament. Which, man, I've been enjoying this. I can't wait for the next one because I'm probably going to cover every replay in that one as well. These are just such good battles. I hope you guys are enjoying them as much as I am because, like I said, they've just been so good. The teams are just so well put together. The armies and this looks really familiar. There's no cav with it. Is there cav with it? Is there cav with this? Gosh dang, is this map Bob? No cav. One artillery piece and a ton of infantry all rolling in a small little call. No way. I actually didn't look at. I know there's an IZ clan here. Is he part? I can't remember if this player is part of the IZ clan or not. But if he is, this is definitely him. Hands down, no way of mistaking that. Anyway, as you can see, they are the Spanish corps, I believe, here, going up for the tournament battle, which is interesting. This is on 6A, the map France 6A. You can see the French span down. I kind of like this map. It's very, very gorgeous map. You got all these different fields. It's got a very awesome just feel to it, like a countryside battle here. Now, as I said, there's a 6-point 6-point Spain right here. You have a 7-point Portugal, a 9-point Spain, and then the far right we have another 8-point Spain. And as you can see, a lot of cavalry for this 9-pointer here. They have a lot of heavy cavalry. My goodness, a lot of heavy cav. 6 to be exact. So they're going to be carrying heavy weight when it comes to the cav. Now, if you don't know, Spanish cav can be very good, but usually it has disadvantages, and you have to be a pretty good player in order to use it properly and actually get a an advantage here. You can't. It's not like some French cav that you can just throw in and it wins. It feels like a lot of the time. Although don't like throw me under the bus with the comments, because I know it's not that simple just to say you can throw French cav in and it works, because it doesn't always work. But I think Spanish cav is a little more challenging to use. Spanish factions are a little more challenging to use. So I'm excited to see how they are going to play as Spain. And as you can see already, we are seeing a French. I know there's a French army that spawns right over here. And it looks like they are going head on to meet the Spanish. So France immediately, they have horse artillery. They have some dragoons, 2 sets of dragoons. They have some line infantry, very, very gorgeous. Polish, looks like they have a good mixture of Polish. Looks like there's some, oh, we have a cav charge. Some dragoons versus French dragoons, and Spain, I don't think they're going to get out of here. As we got, okay, well, they killed maybe a couple models. But oh my goodness, France is just pushing extremely hard here, and Spain is actually throwing up as many troops as possible. We have more heavy cav pushing up over here. Portugal kind of taking up this left side with Spain in the center here, with the smaller amount of infantry, a lot more cav. This forest will be interesting to see how they handle with it, because the forest is very boggy in a way for movement of cav and infantry. It looks like France is not backing down here. Spain is going to form up because they are going to be prepared to receive the French attack. I'm curious if they have Napoleon. All right, that's definitely not Napoleon. Sometimes you can look at the generals and tell. Definitely not Napoleon. Definitely not. All right, so we have another French army that's definitely holding this high ground here. So, yeah, so no Napoleon on the battlefield today. That may be a good thing. At the same time, he is very expensive, so, you got to cut your losses. All right, so we are definitely seeing the formation of the lines. This is obviously where the first attack is going to happen. We have an LOC that's probably going to be taken by the French. They are obviously moving up, setting up a reserve line, a forward attacking line. And it looks like they may be actually pressuring an attack on the the Spanish. The Spanish have a forward position. They have the reserves shuffling around. They have some 12-pounders that will probably be setting up any good. Either they're going to set them up so they can defend because France is pushing so hard, or they are setting up for an attack. I don't know what they're going to do right now. They have very good positioning with the forest. They are, as you can see, already firing some volleys here. France, though, is still pushing, so Spain is falling back. Spain is going to have to be very cautious with the forest. Now, they will have advantages when it comes to fighting in the forest. I do believe the forest gives, you know, some defense when it comes to the projectiles, bullets, and such firing into the forest. So, just like fences, it actually is a good thing. Now, when you're seeing a lot of Cavs screening for the Spanish army, for some reason I'm struggling to, like, keep my French-Spanish armies apart. Keep wanting to call Spain France and France Spain. So I apologize if I do it. It's not intentional. My brain's just stupid. More reserves pushing up. Ooh, man. Look at that. This is gorgeous. You have the whole line just setting up. Both sides exchanging fire here. Got Cav ready to charge up. French, man, this actually... You can see they've actually taken a couple losses here. They have indeed. But the fire is being exchanged, both sides. In fact, it looks like Spain is going to start pushing up here. Potentially. They have to address this flank. And as with this map, it's pretty normal for this side to have the first heated combat. But I like Spain's positioning right now. I do believe they even have some grenadiers, maybe. Okay, so they're falling back even a little more just because of this flank. You can see the masses of infantry that are pushing along the flank here. I would be concerned too. That's a lot of French infantry that is trying to close that gap. And spanning all along the right, so... Uh-oh. You got some friendly fire? Oh, no. Not really. Nicely done, France. Spain is definitely making early movements to kind of save themselves from getting outflanked here. They are kind of jutting out, though. If you look on the mini-map here, they are sticking out a little bit. I mean, the rest of the line is addressing along this hill. They don't have squares, but they do have cav to counter the Spanish or the French cav. See, almost did it again. The French cav may try charging them. We do have some lines going very close to the Spanish position. Interesting movement. They're going to pull back, though. They're going to form up, and this is going to start being a slugfest this time. France has a good angle here. There is artillery setting up. The 12-pounders hopefully are going to... They're setting them up far enough away they can fire and maybe drive back any attacking army, because France is really trying to pressure the Spanish side. Now, France is fighting an uphill battle. Over on this side, Portugal still just rolling forward. Has a line of infantry, has skirmishers out in front, kind of a screen. Also just to maybe drive back any cavalry that France is going to throw at them. You can see way over here, we do have France maybe going to push down this hill and hit the flank. So this Spanish army is going to have to keep an eye out. They have some cav kind of screening their general over here. And this may be a ruse. You can see they have nothing over here, but the general is over here. So they may want to let the French think that there's an army sitting there. Very smart. Hopefully it'll pay off. But if the French are paying attention, they'll notice a bunch of Spanish troops forming up over here. And they may figure out there's a ruse with that general. Now, the Spanish are getting kind of forced back quite a bit. France does not want to really get these 12-pounders a chance to really set up and fire too much, so that you can see they are pushing up quite a bit here. Artillery is going to start firing. We do have also some dragoons shifting up, so Spain is massing up all of the dragoons they can. I mean, they're going to deal with a lot of line infantry support as well, so it's going to get a little rough. They have infantry pushing up maybe to combat this, but they're going to have a cav fight going on here. Artillery getting a fire first, maybe getting a debuff. And they are going to go in. We will see how this handles on both sides. Oh, Spain having some units wavering. I think they'll win this initial combat, but the flank may be open So Spain's going to still have to deal with this other dragoon unit. Infantry is going to start pushing up. France getting very aggressive, trying to encircle and destroy the army in this river. Gosh, what, my speech today is quite awful. Forest, not river. Forest, guys. Oh, this is going to be a rough one. All right, so France is forming up in front of this LOC here. They have a lot of reserves, a lot of troops. I see a lot of skirmishers. Of course, we do have line infantry and more of the French army shifting over. I think they're realizing where the combat is actually probably going to take place, which is along this side. This is going to be, because the coalition probably is not as apt when it comes to the melee. This is going to be a shooting match, and they're going to need all of their skill. Oh, that was a misclick probably. See, we got the guns getting charged by the cav. Unfortunately, those 12 Panthers getting it destroyed, and oh man, this is bad. Spain is in danger. France has closed quite a significant gap here. So, France, having closed such a gap, for Spain is falling back and trying to just shoot the French as much as possible, which is going to be very rough, very hard to do. Because they have to constantly readjust, and once they get into the forest, it's going to be very difficult to move quickly. Portugal is starting to engage here. I think they will do very well as long as it stays as a shooting match. They have very, let's see, do they have light infantry pushing up here? I think they'll do pretty good here. They're setting up kind of on this hill so they can face two directions and defend this point. They have a good amount of reserves. They're setting up their artillery. Spain over on this side forming up some skirmishers, line infantry, trying to maybe strike the French as they are rolling over to reinforce their allies. So this may be an opportunity for them. I'm concerned about the Spanish flank here. We are getting into the forest. We got cavalry, line infantry. This is where things usually tend to get messy. Tends to get very, very, very messy, and France is totally taking advantage of this left side. Getting some beautiful volleys, killing a lot of dragoons. Spain is just... They're having to reform this entire time. I'm going to zoom in order to see what's actually going on here. Still holding the line. France on the outside just kind of firing into the forest with some very regular, solid volleys. They are over on this side. They are fighting an uphill battle. And you see, ooh, they've actually lost a good amount of casualties. A lot of dead littered here, but Portugal and Spain holding the top of this hill. Very good terrain advantage. Artillery has a very good position too. Look at this. They're firing directly at this French army that's standing to meet the Spanish. A very good flanking fire. I like this battle. It's not like just taking off, but one side has some excitement. Yeah, so Spain has done very good at kind of just getting distance between himself and the French. And then, oh, beautiful volleys. They are starting to actually beat the stuffing out of these French units. They're taking their toll on them. They're going to reform. Maybe they're going to hold. France is going to probably want to close that gap and get into melee. They have still a flank. You see nothing facing these Portuguese units. Oh, and we have France pushing into the forest now. So they're feeling confident enough. Hopefully Spain can get the first volley off as they're pushing up really close, and they can inflict some losses here. Oh, the officer. Oh, one of the officers, maybe. Yep, they're starting to beat the stuffing out of them just because of the point-blank volleys. France is going to... Ooh, hold that thought, guys. We have forward movement here.
This building
Cavalry, dragoons on both sides against heavies. We have Spanish infantry pushing up here, trying to put some pressure on these skirms. So they are starting to really push out here. Oh, the artillery. Oh my gosh, this is some good Spanish units here getting just lit up by cannon fire. We're gonna keep a peek over here. It looks like it's just starting to heat up here on the left side here. Center, Portugal sending up some more troops here. Gonna try to support this forward push. I'm sure they have reserves upon reserves. fact, Spain does, and you kind of have to play that way. But hold that thought, because we may have some more action happening over here. France is so close. They could. I mean, it'd be very embarrassing to miss shots at this range. And both sides are just exchanging almost point-blank fire. Someone is going to eventually cave. France, they are now facing some Spanish units. Spain is almost in a circle. They are holding. Hold that thought. We do have a huge charge that I'm missing. Oh my goodness. Cavalry charging in. There's a square here. I think they're trying to go in for cav. They're going to smack into a grenadier square, and now the French cav is going to counterattack and break that cav unit. This is going to be rough. Coalition attacking this LOC is going to be rough. You can see they did throw some cav out, dealt with some skirmishers, and now they're going to retreat. Oh, that thought too. We have more line infantry charging. We have some Spanish troops getting charged by some Polish, and this may be a counterattack. The Spanish attacking the exposed flank as France was getting aggressive and pushing into the tree line. You see France is taking a beating here in the forest, such point-blank volleys. And look at the melee here. So France setting up a lot of cavalry here. Spain trying to just counterattack here. In fact, they have beaten back some of the cavalry, some chasseurs cheval of France. They are throwing a lot of troops forward, trying to break the flank. They got to release the pressure because France is really pushing here. You can see they're all the way around this forest. And, man, this is a hard point now. Both sides committing quite a lot. In fact, I think Spain has really heavily invested a lot of troops into this. They're also pushing into the LOC here. Bayonet charges line infantry. They have shelled the LOC to inflict heavy losses as much as possible on the troops inside the LOC. Over on this side, it looks like we may have just still fighting, just volleys being exchanged. Real heat, guys, happening here where, oh, man. France is starting to break. And Spain is throwing more cav down. France is going to start throwing up more cav to stop this onslaught of Spain. General up in the front lines to inspire the men. Dragoons trying to take on the heavies of Spain. And now this flank is in danger. France may actually have to fall back. And you can see Spain is in a semicircle. They need to be saved because they're going to start dying here. But at the same time, France is just starting to cave here, which means the Spanish can start sticking the flank out and starting to encircle the French in the tree line as well. Over in this LOC, what a mess. Both sides taking some losses here. You see that the Portuguese have pushed it quite a bit to try to put pressure on the right flank of France as they are attacking. Oh man, France is throwing up cavalry. They have some line infantry. Looks like Spain threw in some grenadiers to try to take this LOC. If they can take LOC, they can force the French back. There's a lot of weight actually in this assault in this LOC. Like a significant amount. Looks like France may be actually bayonet charging the Portuguese here. Trying to force back the heavy push they are making. It looks like just an exchange of volleys, guys. Thankfully, not everything happening in the same spot all at once. I appreciate that because it's hard to keep track of it all. Oh, the cavalry for Spain has really made its mark. I mean, all this heavy cav is really helping out here. You can see in the forest, we have a melee here. Some dragoons closed in to help this line infantry of Spain. Try to keep the Spanish line strong, keep them holding because France is just... this is still indecisive. This is the flank that really matters. And I think France is falling back from this LOC. Yes, they are. So they have been pushed back. They are falling completely back. Also, it doesn't help that they've lost a lot of their strength over by the forest, and they're trying to defend their flank. They're gonna be more in a solid line now here instead of like encircling. So well done by Spain counterattacking there. Just regular volleys being exchanged over here. France, Spain, no one really winning this fight. Maybe a stalemate until this fight is decided. Portugal still charging forward. The LSC has been broken. It was a one-pointer, so this actually may be a good strategy to ensure that they have complete success here. Just getting rid of the LSC so they can push up and push past LSC, and France can't use the LSC to kind of make it difficult for Spain to attack. So Spain's flank has been saved. They are now pushing forward. In fact, they are bayonet charging the French line here. Let's see how that melee over on this side is going. France is still holding strong. Spain actually has quite a few units that have broken. So France still doing well. In fact, they may need to save some reserves here. Spain is starting to cave in the forest. They need to pull back, potentially, as they're going to start breaking here. They need some cavalry to save them. The left flank was saved, but the right flank is caving. Oh, we have a cav charge going for the guns. Brave, brave cavalry. Oh, they're actually going for some dragoons. So still a... Oh, they're dead. They just got... France executed a beautiful flank here, although there is still a lot more cav infantry over here. Portugal has managed to push out quite a bit. Look at this. They're chasing down the French. French totally in retreat. They have lost, looks like, their right flank, so they're going to pull back. Try to reform, maybe. They may have some units that are coming back, or reserved maybe near the road. Yeah, Portugal is in full attack mode here. Cavalry charging in here in the back lines, trying to run down some... Oh, they're running down the artillery. This artillery is in an excellent position to throw back any coalition attack. If they can get rid of those guns, that would be perfect for them. I think France actually has been stopped a little bit here. You can see that Spain managed to close the distance. Yeah, Spain has managed to kind of recover a little bit of their flank. They aren't winning, but they just got to hold until, you know, this whole fight, which Portugal is on the attack. The morale of France is very, very wavery right now, and they are just fully sending it. Going in with melee here with the shaky morale. Oh, look at this. So the artillery has not all been defeated, but this one Spanish cav or French cav unit is getting just focused down by squares. Spain has the cav advantage here, and they have broken yet another French cav unit. Spain is, yeah, they've almost totally broken in the center. Well done by Portugal and France in Spain. Breaking the French center, taking the LC, that was a probably difficult attack. I'm sure there was heavy losses associated with that attack. There are French units, wow, totally behind. Going for the artillery, trying to close in this gap here. So France has almost totally wrapped themselves back around. Unfortunately, they may be too slow, as Portugal has one on their flank. Over on this side, Spain is actually pulling back. I think they were starting to lose this fight, so they're going to pull back, and they don't need to fight against... I mean, this is a 6-pointer. They probably are engaging a very high point France, and they are going to pull back because they don't have to fight this battle. They can meet up with their ally and then unite and probably win. This Spanish army had a very crucial role. I mean, they have probably taken heavy losses in the forest, but they have engaged an entire French army. Who knows, maybe more than one. And I think really taken taking a bullet, as it were. Man, the French are just point blank artillery. I'm surprised they haven't bayonet charged them. Oh, here we go. We got the French coming in behind the Spanish. Hopefully the Spanish notice this huge flanking force, because Spain actually, if France plays their cards right, they definitely could destroy this whole flank, and then, you know, maybe they could still win this. They could still possibly win this. Things aren't looking too good for them at the moment, but, you know, miracles can happen. And Spain is trying to get themselves out of this hole that they have just, or this circle that they have been in. Although it seems like they actually be trying to break through France. Indeed, they may be. And they may actually be. I have to zoom in. I'm sorry, guys, if it starts making me feel like car sick or whatever, motion sick, just because of how fast I'm going. France has a strong front right here, but Spain seems to have gotten away from them. Totally falling back. I mean, yeah, we have the French forming up. Spain trying to stand fast. Wow. France hasn't even got a charge to fire yet, but oh, the execution. And Portugal is pushing forward as there are a couple French reserves. Spain over 6-pointer is just slowly fighting retreating battle, it looks like, or maybe they're just going to stand fast. Maybe they changed their mind based on, you know, events that have transpired. Alright, and France has been broken. The cavalry doing a huge service to them. Now they're going to go for some skirmishers that have been sitting here, so, you know, France probably isn't too excited about that. Spain still holding by this tree line. So close. Why don't they just bayonet charge them? Look at these guys are so weak. It's probably so hard to see what's actually happening here. But France is coming in with the save, the bayonet charge on the flank, so they can actually start breaking these guys. And yep, France is going to have to receive some melee as Spain counterattacks now, as that's probably their only option. They have started crumbling the flank of France. France not looking too good at this point in time. This may be the only fresh line left in this forest by France, and they are pushing up reserves here. I mean, their whole line is exposed to Spanish, though, which is why they're probably trying to reform. This is like the forest of death. Seriously, like, there's probably, like, the majority of the French and Spanish troops have probably died in this forest compared to the whole battlefield. Although, I mean, this is a pretty heavy losses here by this LOC. Being honest here. Now look at this massive line. But yeah, I mean, Spain is, France seems to have fallen back. Maybe they're going to try to go for LOC holding now. They do have this LOC that they did destroy. A 1-pointer. So that is 1 for the Imperials. But keep in mind, there's still 4s and 2s everywhere. Let's try zooming in here. Let's see what's happening. France in melee. Forming square with the Dragoons of Spain attacking. On this side, looks like both sides have kind of distanced themselves from the other. Oh, beautiful volleys, though. And a bayonet charge as well. It's just utter carnage in these woods, guys. This is just utter death under the shade of the trees. Very difficult to see what's going on. Man, they both seem to really love this forest fighting. But yeah, besides that, I mean, Portugal is pushing up on a French army here. I'm not sure this is the units that came back and are resting. But they are holding another 1-pointer. Now keep in mind, when troops, if these are routed troops that came back, they will probably be tired at least, if not exhausted. Which means, not only is their morale worse, their reloading skill and accuracy will be worse. So they will be firing volleys and they won't be hitting as well. They won't be hitting targets, so that could be a huge factor Oh, these line infantry, I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're gonna get run down here by some cavalry. And just annihilated. Still trying to figure out what's happening here. Where is even the fighting? Ah, France is counterattacking. It is so hard sometimes, I swear, to figure out what's actually happening in that stinking forest. So it does look like Spain realizes they must go for some LOCs. They're going to go for the 2 and 4. And it is a tournament after all. You need to win some way or the other. Oh, Spain is getting attacked. We have some dragoons charging in as well as light infantry. And this looks to be smacking up the Spanish line. We have some cavalry, some hussars trying to save the line. A very strong defensive French line over here by this LOC. I do think the coalition has more troops, but this may end up being an LOC victory here without total... Ooh, wow, France just lost big there. But I think this may be just total annihilation in a way. We do have a huge melee fight here. Spain defending as France desperately goes with a final attack here in the forest. We have some chasseurs cheval or hussars, I think actually, hussars, and the Polish line infantry charging in here. Building has been taken. So they snuck into this building. Now they're gonna have a flanking LOC on. Oh, and more cap charging in too. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna leave a mark. So yeah, as you can see, Spain is going in here because the French have both LOCs, or are going for both LOCs, the 4-pointer and the 2-pointer. So they're going to race over here. I'm sure they have enough troops. They got to basically just beat or take the other 4-pointer, because right now, actually, the coalition is not going to win by LOC victory. If you look on the map here, I know there was an infantry over here by this 4-pointer. There's one over here. There's one over here. So, you know, they got to take some LOCs. They have plenty of time, though, to do it. 26 minutes, and they definitely have the mass. They have the units. Got some cavalry charge again to stop... Maybe break some of the French retreating units. And the 2-pointer has been taken, so Spain is going to have to deal with that. I may fast forward once this French army is broken. I mean, there's still some of them left, and they are falling back. I may have to just fast forward here. Let's fast forward, because I think Portugal is just going to be giving chase to the French, and the French are trying to get away. Yep. Yeah, they're gonna run down. Ooh, point blank. Oh, hold on. There's a nice counter charge, bayonet charge by the French, and they're gonna sacrifice a unit to let the rest of their army get away, and it worked. Now
this
fast
building
forward
has
here.
fallen to the enemy.
Yeah, as you can see, they're staking claim to all the LOCs, but they probably are just gonna aim to take the 2 4-pointers, and they'll win that way. So they're gonna push up their whole army to this LOC. And probably push up. I mean, they're pushing the French army back towards the LOC anyway. Ooh, hold that thought, because we had some cavalry charging in. Oh, beautiful charge by the dragoons. Wow, they are mass routing the French. They're wavering. And how more calves gonna start going in, and the French are gonna start. Oh man, look at all this cav. Spain ain't making it out of... I mean, France isn't making it out of this. And it's just gonna be a simple taking the 4-pointer, both 4-pointers. That's it. So I'm gonna fast forward here. Yeah. So Spain has an army still. They have cav. They have infantry. Do they have any They have some sappers. They're probably gonna send them in once they have a unit soaking up some of the ammunition. They have grenadiers too. They have infantry. They could probably shoot it up a little bit first. And more sappers. So they have some good melee capable troops. They have skirmishers as well. Like I said, they're going to probably push for the 2 4-pointers and take LOC victory. And they obviously have also won the land battle. Definitely see a decisive land battle victory, which looked a little grim at first, especially in that forest by that Spanish faction. I think the French got a little too aggressive in the center here, like along this little line here. They've taken another LOC. All right, they've getting all the points they can. I think they got too aggressive. They pushed up here and then had their line kind of back over here, so kind of stretched up and bowed in, and the Spanish just hit that like exposed line. And I think the French just exposed their flank too much when they were attacking the forest. So we got two sides of the map here trying to... Yeah, so France has a couple units left. And artillery as well, so they are very determined to make this stand here. They believe they can do it, guys. I can tell this is not over for them. They desperately don't want to lose here, and they can still try to hold this. They are heavily outnumbered, but these brave forces... Look at these skirmishers sitting right in front. Oh, a canister. And these guys are loading fast. This is a guard unit, I think. But they are getting focused down by infantry fire. And potentially a bayonet charge. You can see over here, more bayonet charges as Portugal is going to start focusing them down and starting to get some regular volleys and starting to pepper down the French artillery piece. We have a general who's now throwing himself in. Now it looks like a lost cause. Very brave general, though. I say as he runs away. I'm surprised the cav didn't throw himself in when all the infantry were melee. Other side, it looks like they are... Yeah, they're winning. They're going to send their sappers in. We have a cav v cav, a combat now. Dragoons versus heavies. With so many units routing, though, even with a general nearby, it's probably not going to be too easy of a fight for the French. There's so many units around them routing. They have infantry pushing up to fire on their flanks. And here we go, the flanking bayonet charge. As the morale, they may not even take the one in the house because the morale is going to be so shaky. These two Frenchmen holding off. Oh, the officer got himself a kill. He's like, push up, man. They're going to take that. All right, so that's no doubt they're going to take it. Let's see how the other 4-pointer battle is going. Spain is kind of maybe resting up their troops. They have some forces. They're going to start probably just volleying Spanish who have 1, maybe 2 troops here. Let's fast forward just a little bit so they can get position. And the artillery, they have artillery still. They could set up here, fire, maybe break it down to 50%, and then attack it. But they did take the other LOC, so they have plenty of points, even if they don't take this 4-pointer, which they are going to take this 4-pointer. They have Grenadiers coming up. If they charge units outside the house first, which is what you should do, you'll break them. You see the morale's already taking a hit. Alright, I'm just gonna fast forward because so it doesn't take too long. Yep, they took it. Alright, and that is the game.
Taken a building, sir.
That is the game, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen. Well played on both sides, I'd say. I think the French were just yeah, unable to really get that decisive attack. So I made a skip to the end. They're going to clean up a couple units, and that'll be that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, that was the battle, and I was right. I was right. See, I know things. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we have Chainmail playing as a 9-pointer, I think, in the forest. Did an excellent job, I think, of holding. That was a rough fight for sure. Getting just surrounded in the forest. I think it was the 9-pointer, right? And then Implex holding that other side against, well, I don't know which pointer it was up against, so. But did a good job of just not collapsing on this right flank. Mapbob and Beauregard, I think, were in the center pushing, I think. Maybe totally wrong about that. I apologize if I got that wrong, but they did a very good job all together, coordinating that attack, that push in the center, easing the pressure on this right flank here, so that Spain could hold in the forest. The French had a good push going too. You can see they did get some good kills. Some of them did, some of them not so much. Man, Suchet got almost 2,000 kills, got more than anybody else. Mapbob coming close with 18, the 9, 5, 4, and the 9, 1,013. Unless you got the most kills here. Dang, the Cav. Running down probably routing units to make sure they didn't come back. And, you know, they got a lot of experience for that. Artillery even got 65 kills. That's really good for artillery. But anyway, guys, that was the battle. Thank you so much for joining me. More of these to come because there's a couple more. There's some final showdown ones as well. So I'm excited to get to those. Yeah. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I will catch you all in another video.